the first batch of Itchy and Scratchy shows, for, a long period, we used to rebuild the entire studio on stage. So this is like 2 samplers, 303s, 101s, sync boxes, mixing desks, delay things and reverb units, and literally plugging it in at 2 in the morning while there's, lasers and fog machines, and how's this going to work, and doing it in the dark. And sort of, it was a pain in the ass, but it was possible to truly jam and make what we were doing in the studio, but on stage in this, massive 1,000, 2,000 people environment.
I just wanted to make classic recordings. Yeah, I still do. Yeah, I just want to make a body of work that I'm proud of. And that's always been my motivation since I was 15. Yeah, I'm all about the recording studio.
But we tried it. We gave it a good red hot go during that whole boiler room rave period.
We must have played
up live
at least 50 gigs.
Yeah.
So we've given it a red hot go, and we've tried all different kinds of ways of doing it as well. Among the various people we met was Jay Richards, who was following us around with his camera. And we were going, and I think he was too, because we've had this conversation with him, why are you filming this? And he was going, why am I filming this? Like, nobody really knew. And now here we are going, can we have more of this documentation? Have you got anything else in the archives?
Like Andy said, it's one of the only footage ever of that whole scene, so it's pretty crucial, and it's really fun. I show it to my students now, and it's kind of like, this is what it looked like, and it's weird. It captures the freedom well. It's a seminal piece of footage that, thank God, it's there. The Happy Valley gig was funny because it was supposed to be on at 4 a.m. and I was shitting myself. I was so terrified that we would just tank and it not work. It was just, so in a sort of bid to avoid it, we sort of asked if we could go on a bit later, and so we went on at like 6 a.m. instead. And by that stage, we're in an outdoor field that every synth is covered in dew and condensation and stuff, and we are so going to get electrocuted and die here. But then, the upside was sort of became this classic sunrise set.
Which is that video. It was just amazing good luck, because the sun came up and Jay was filming, and that's pretty much everything that remains of that era. I mean, there's bits and bobs, but that's probably the most solid evidence we have that we ever played live at all. Miriam, vocals. Now, I was working with her band Wrong Kind of Stone Age. She came over and did an album which came out on Cosmic Conspiracy Productions on cassette. One of the abandoned tracks, it was recorded in my studio. One of the abandoned tracks had her going, ooh, ah, ah. And I stole that without telling her and reversed it. So it went, ah, ah, woo. And that became a sample which I was playing with for months and months. But to her credit, Miriam was happy for me to use that piece and is very proud to be a part of the history of Sweetness and Light. it's not just the vocal that makes that track, but the piano that comes up on top of the vocal. And so it didn't really come to life until Paul took charge of it. And it didn't, and that piano part is so important. We thought we had a little scene going and we were bouncing off a lot of friends. So we had Sheriff Lindo, who we'd just met, and he was joining us on some of the tracks. He came from the Loop Orchestra, so I mean, again, from the post-industrial kind of world of Midnight to Dawn to MBS radio. And also he was a dub guy, so he was right into dub music, as were our friends Ron Kind of Stone Age.
I think there was a particular stage in the technology where there was enough liveness and there was enough looseness and there was enough warmth and there was that the important thing of like 4 hands on a mixing desk and are you ready? Okay, kick drum, go, filter sweep, you got the delay, you know, all of that stuff was just at that right level of capturing the magic. If it had any kind of cultural impact or whatever, and you know, it got voted best #1 of the dance songs of all time or whatever. All that shit I find kind of interesting. You know, I don't think it was necessarily even a rave hit at the time. It was more like it was a radio hit, to be honest.
And a radio track too.
You have your verse sounds and then you have your chorus sounds, and it's like, and I think Sweetness and Light perhaps follows that to the most successful degree, where it's like, okay, the verse does its thing, and then, you know, add some 99 snare fills and a nice Italo piano part on top, and you've got your chorus. So, and I think the only reason that track had some kind of level of connection via Triple J was that it followed a pop song format. Even though it was 145 BPM and ravey, it's a pop song.
Now, this is a new category for the Arias. It's the best dance release of the year.
Itchy and Scratchy, Sweetness and Light. Quench, Dreams. Boxcar, What Are You So Happy About? Renegade Funk Train, I Wonder. The Rockmelons, Stronger Together. Single Gun Theory, Flow River of My Soul.
And the winner is Itchy and Scratchy, Sweetness and Light.
Cheers. Wow, total spin out. This track was made at home in a bedroom, so anybody can do it. So, and all the DJs who play it, all the public radio stations, all the ravers, all the everybody, thank you very much.
Thanks to Event Horizon, Transcendental Anarchists, Loop Orchestra, Phlegm, the Menstruation Sisters, and that'll do.
I mean, so it was the first year that there was a Best Dance release, and we're up against Quench and Single Gun Theory and like a really good lineup of artists, and we didn't think remotely that we'd win. Andy didn't even go, so me and Sheriff Lindo went, and it was this surreal moment of we're sitting down next to Single Gun Theory and surrounded by all the other people. And just before they go to announce it, it's, the cameras start coming over in your direction. It's like, oh, fuck, I think we're going to win this. And then it was like, they announce it, and then it's time to walk to the stage. And that surreal moment happens where you're actually running to the stage, but it feels like you're in slow motion. It was like a car crash kind of thing. And get to the stage, and then it's like, as you're approaching the microphone and going, oh, that means a speech. All right, what do we do here? And then so for me, it was that sort of, all right, what's important? Do-it-yourself culture, public radio stations, like this. I wanted to sort of nail that underground, community vibe that created this scene that we'd just been talking about. And it just went into the stream of consciousness of, thanks to the public radio stations, the DJs, the ravers. Who else? Oh yeah, Ecstasy Dealers.
I remember you also said anyone could make this music at home, remember?
True, absolutely. We made this in our bedrooms. Anybody can do this at home. That was a really important thing I thought that I wanted to capture. But the Ecstasy Dealer comment got most of the attention.
Got bleeped out. I was watching at home and then he just goes beep, 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 beep. And my then wife said, what did he say? And I said, I think he said, suck on this box cut.
Which was hilarious because you get off stage, and that year it was sponsored by the Drug Offensive, which was this government initiative to just say no kids. And so we sort of walk backstage, and you can just feel everybody, all the staff on the show, it's like, oh, you idiot, what are you doing? And so immediately you get off stage, then you walk into the press room, and the press is full of, the Daily Telegraph, but also Loot magazine and all this kind of underground, 3D world and all the dance press. And so to, the Murdoch press, they were just ready to tear my head off. And the other ones, I was like this sort of homecoming hero. I'm just like, yay! It was a very surreal night, that one, and very hard to explain to lots of people. To me, I always thought of it as making sort of imaginary soundscapes of places that you haven't been to yet. And still to this very day, the only tracks that will get me off where it would just be like where I hear something and go, I would never have thought to have gone there. That's, it just gets harder and harder the older you get of being amazed, but it's still possible. But I think that's, for me, that period was definitely like, amazing each other. And I think even as a partnership, I think that's so important. Like it was the fact that both of us were doing this together. It's almost like I'm learning off what Andy's idea is of this imaginary vision, and with and sort of meeting that conversation in that dialogue. But okay, what if we do this? And it's the spark of that, the two visions that kind of take you to places that you wouldn't expect. I'm just really glad that I just feel incredibly lucky to be born at the time that I was born at. So was lucky enough to capture the tail end of post-punk, and all of that weird-ass electronic wave of music that informed the music that I was going to make, which rubbed off into, being mixed with Detroit and Sheffield bleeps and, Orbital and things like that fed into our music, and that would hopefully inspire the next generation and on goes the conversation. But I think we were lucky just because it was like there weren't many of us at the time. There was not many places to get it released, and things happened, which is a nice confluence of events that allowed us to release stuff. And yeah, I'm happy to go to.
In hindsight, you can see how lucky we were.
Yeah.